Happy Wednesday and welcome everyone to another session of the Advice Media webinar series. We're so grateful to have everyone here today and to be able to learn about this great topic of how to increase your inbound leads. We've got two great presenters today who are going to take us through this presentation and help educate all of our attendees on this and how texting and live chat can really increase your leads by 40%. Before we do that, just a couple of quick things. One is reminding you, for those who have been on before, that if you do have any questions, we certainly encourage that. The best way to do that is through the control panel, which you see on the GoToWebinar control panel. Enter your questions. I will be moderating those, and at the end of the presentation, I will offer those up and we'll have a good discussion. So please go ahead and do that. I'll also be monitoring. If you raise your hand, you have a question, I can communicate directly with you via the chat option on here, and that works exceptionally well. So thank you for that. I want to go ahead and introduce our two presenters today. These two individuals have a ton of background and history when it comes to the market research as well as conversion elements and how to increase conversions. We constantly preach conversion as a critical element to any great marketing. We talk about the fact that your website has one purpose, and that is to make you money. And there are two functions that exist within it. One of it is patient generation, which we talk about with the search engine optimization, social media, everything else that drives the traffic in. But the next piece that's so critical is what happens when they get to your website, when they pull it up either on their phone or their desktop, and are they able to quickly connect with you, and not just the way that you want them to, but the way they want to. And you're going to learn more about that today. So let me introduce our two presenters today. Kenneth Lee, he's a growth marketer with Advice Media. He has over 7 years of digital marketing experience, and he spent the last 2 years tracking consumer behavior and online engagement. So again, you're gonna love the things he has to share with you with his extensive background and knowledge. Our second presenter is David Shepler. David, first of all, was just recently married. Congratulations, Dave, and welcome back from your honeymoon. Glad to have you back. But he is our live chat product specialist. He has over 5 years of industry experience, and he's our expert on our live chat product offering and is going to be able to not only explain it to you in greater detail, but also help answer any questions that you have today. But again, gentlemen, thank you very much again for being here and look forward to learning more from you today. Kenneth, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Chad, for the introduction. Appreciate that. We're excited to kind of go through the whole product offering. And really the presentation today will be broken out in two pieces. I'd like to go over kind of the consumer behavior. What are the trends? Why are people using live chat? And why are people using text-based communication in general? And how live chat fits in the equation of, all the things we can do with marketing and sending traffic and folks to our websites. But, what are we doing to engage them? And how does live chat actually can be used as a tool to capture additional leads from window shoppers or otherwise people that would be doing comparison shopping with other sites. So let me kick off the kind of overview. I'll be going over what is live chat, why does it work, and then what Dave will do when I introduce him is how does it work specifically with Advice Media, and what are the important technology advancements that you should look out for. So what is live chat? We've all used live chat in some shape or form, mostly with tech support or even when doing some online shopping. And it could be a proactive or static chat invitation. Dave can talk a little bit in showing some examples of what that is in a bit. But it can also appear on a desktop and also on mobile phones and tablets. And specifically, mobile phones and having a software that works with that, we found is important because most of the traffic online now comes on mobile devices. And so, it's very critical to have some kind of engagement, tool available on mobile devices. And the purpose, really of live chat, at least for this presentation, isn't really necessarily just customer support, but how do we use live chat to generate more leads from our website? How do we use it as a lead generation tool to ultimately get more consultations for your practice? So why does it work? So the traditional ways to get a hold and communicate with your business today or typically is through the phone, or you're expecting the visitor to go to your website and fill out a form. And those are the traditional ways. And those aren't always the preferred ways of your visitors. They could be at work, busy, or in the middle of the night where your office is closed and they can't pick up the phone and talk to anybody. And so convenience and offering another method of communication above a contact form, above a phone call. And I'll say one thing about phone calls is that it does take a level of commitment, and that buyer or that prospect that's looking at your website that's willing to pick up the phone is different from the prospect who's visiting your website who may be doing comparison shopping and higher up the funnel. And what live chat allows them to do is give them another means of communication that is a little more gentle, a little bit more passive, and a little bit more, allows a little bit more engagement before they're ready to pick up the phone and call you. The other thing is, I did mention, it is 24/7. Our offering is around the clock, and I'll go over some of the stats on why that's important to have 24/7 coverage for your website in terms of live chat. And then the final thing, which I also kind of touch on, is, oftentimes people will, when they're looking for a doctor specifically, is they'll go on to Google, do a website search, or go to a review site and check out multiple doctors, multiple websites. And oftentimes the doctor that has live chat has a little bit of an edge because they're available 24/7. They're seen as more customer focused. So that helps win that edge, especially when someone's doing comparison shopping. Now, there's been a big shift in text-based communication versus phone calling. And here's a stat that we pulled from one study that shows in the US, on a daily basis, Americans on average spend 26 minutes texting versus only 6 minutes on the phone making telephone calls. So this shows you kind of where the world is turning in terms of how consumers are preferring to communicate in a general sense, not just with businesses. Now, the other major benefit is that 79% of consumers in one study favored live chat over phone calls in terms of their communication preference with businesses. And so you can see, again, the immediacy over phone calls is one of the main factors on why this is the case, is because oftentimes you'll go through a phone tree and have to be put on hold, whereas with live chat, you enter a live chat and almost immediately you have folks standing by, be able to answer any questions that that prospect might have. Now, the ability to be 24/7 is incredibly important in terms of live chat availability, because it speaks to the business customer focused and oriented, and having a presence 24/7. And the reason why that's important in terms of leads being captured and generated is that we found, through looking through our own data, that 42% of the leads we capture, and these are qualified leads that we're capturing via live chat, actually happens after the business is closed. And so that's a significant chunk when you think about it. So that means 42% of people are shopping or looking for a doctor after the office is closed, at night, probably after they got off work, and doing that shopping and willing to engage in the business. So that's a significant amount. And again, the reason why 24/7 is such a important factor. The other kind of cool thing about having live chat, since it does convey the customer-focused branding and communication, that the doctor's office or medical practice website will have is that in one study shows that consumers are 63% more likely to return to a website that has live chat. And so that's an important stat that you may see an increase in actual return visitors just for the simple fact of having live chat available and knowing that they can come back knowing that there's someone available to talk to. And then in our own case studies, and all the data that I've seen, before and after live chat, the increase in leads, online leads from the website increased on average by 40%. So that's a significant amount. And what I'd like to do is actually turn this over to Dave, which will show you kind of how it works and what's the product offering that we have today to kind of, and also go over the technology features that allow us to get 40% more leads. So Dave?
Yeah, thanks, Ken, and thanks, Chad, for the initial introduction there, and to all those who have tuned into the webinar here today. Really excited to talk to you about how we are really going to be more focused on live chat and making sure that all of our clients, all of our doctors, offices, and so forth are using this and taking advantage of this important tool. We've actually, this is something that we've had for a while, and we've just sort of kept an eye on with the doctors that are using this service and so forth through us, and kind of seeing what it's done and the dynamics. And the results, kind of tying back to what Ken has looked at, have just been off the charts. I mean, 40% average increase in leads for our doctors' offices and clients that are using the live chat. This has been, really a wake-up call for us, and just seeing sort of the trends that have been changing, like the people moving more towards the text-based technologies and away from phones, as Ken mentioned as well, that we're really now making this a high priority and a top focus for us, that we're going to push this live chat to all of our clients moving forward, as this is really something that you need to have. And so sort of to move forward on the presentation here, Ken talked a lot about the statistics and the reasons why live chat is important. And I'm going to focus here more on how our live chat service specifically works here with Advice Media, and sort of what you can expect and how we do it. So the first thing is, when a website visitor comes to your website, they will see an invitation to chat. We refer to it as a chat invitation. And Ken mentioned at the beginning that sometimes you see live chat on the website and it just may be a static button, or there's proactive ways of introducing the chat invitation. And that's what we have found works best. So when someone comes to your website, what we'll have is a chat invitation that will just sort of fall into the website, sort of dropping in, grabbing someone's attention, letting them know that that's available, and then just sort of sits typically in the bottom right-hand corner of the website. And I'll show you a little bit of a visual of that here in the next slide, so that they know it is an option when they get to the site. Secondly, the live chats, and again, this may be something that is newer for some of you that are listening, is that we actually are handling the chats on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so that's where we're able to offer this 24/7 coverage that Ken pointed out is so important. So a lot of people have even said to us in the past that, hey, we think this live chat is great, or we've talked to other people, and they say, but we just don't have the people in the office that can sit in front of a computer all day. If someone decides to start a chat on our website, our people are too busy, they're answering phones, they're dealing with patients in the office and so forth. And so realistically, it just was something that they couldn't do. And so we've solved that problem by, having people that are going to handle these chats for you. The leads that we generate from the live chat, basically what you'll receive on your end is, as soon as the chat is completed, we are going to email you a full transcript of the entire chat conversation that just took place on your website. So you're going to see everything. In addition to being able to send the leads via email, we also have the capability to send them via text message. If you have someone at the office or a doctor that wants to get the lead sent via text to their cell phone, we can also accommodate for that. So essentially, we're handing off a warm lead to you within just a couple of minutes of that chat's conclusion. So here on this slide here, you see a visual of what the chat invitation looks like on our website at Advice Media, sort of focused in there on the bottom right-hand corner. You'll see it says, click to start chat. And again, this invitation, if you go to our website, you'll see it sort of falls in and then sort of settles at the bottom right-hand side. So it's not intrusive. It's not, getting in anybody's way. If it's somebody that perhaps does not prefer to live chat, or that's not the way they contact the business, it's, not going to bother them. They just won't click on it. But it is available there for someone, and that's an example of how it can look there. So to touch on some of the features that come along with our service, and one of the exciting things, again, as I mentioned, how we're really going to be pushing this out, is that we've added some additional features to our standard live chat to really enhance it and increase the conversions even further with some of these features that we have implemented. So first off, as Ken mentioned, mobile is a huge focus for us, with half of all website traffic, in some cases more, coming from people on their mobile devices. We have made sure that the live chat option itself is optimized for mobile devices. So they will have, the visitor does have an option to start a chat from mobile. In addition to that, we have also now added the ability to text on a mobile device, and those text messages will come to us, our chat agents, just like a normal chat would, but we're able to communicate in that method. And I've got a couple visual slides of the texting coming up, so I'll dive a little bit deeper into that momentarily. As well as this new exit pop-up feature, which we've created. Again, another tool to help increase conversion from the website. It reduces website abandonment, and we'll touch on that here in a moment on an additional slide as well. But these are some new features that have come out on top of our standard live chat. This next feature is really a big one that I'd like to touch on. Connect chat visitor directly to your office by phone. We call this our Call Connect feature. And essentially what this does is, if we are chatting with a good prospect for you, so a prospect who's interested in a service or a procedure that you offer at your office, we can actually offer to connect them directly to your office by phone from within the chat. And this is something that we will only offer during the days and times that you want us to make it available. So in other words, whenever you have someone answering phones for your office, is the only time that we're going to offer to connect someone, so that we're setting the proper expectation. The reason why this is so important, though, is it increases your conversion rate quite a bit, as you might imagine. We do away with phone tag and email tag. If we can get them connected with you once we've had that initial engagement process and they've sort of warmed up through the chat, and if we can connect them to you by phone, that's ideal. So we encourage this feature that all of you use it. Okay, and the way that works, by the way, is you would provide us with the phone number that you want these calls to go to. So most people give us their main office number. However, if you wanted to receive these calls to your cell phone, you could do that too. It's up to you. But what we'll say to the person that we're chatting with is, would you like to speak with somebody right now to set up a consultation, or to speak to somebody who can answer your questions in more detail? And if they say yes to that, we're going to ask them for the phone number where they can currently be reached. And our chat agent will enter that number into our system, and it generates an outbound phone call to the person that we're chatting with. So their phone rings and they pick up, and they'll hear a message saying, now connecting your call to the name of your office, please hold. And at the same time, a phone call is generated to your office or the number that you've provided us with, and you'll hear a automated whisper message letting you know that there's an incoming call from live chat, please hold. And then we instantly connect the two parties. Our chat agents are not on the phone, but they remain active in the live chat, and they'll say to the person, you should now be connected to our office. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Ensuring that the connection was successful. And then they'll still send the full lead email transcript like they normally would. Okay, so that's how that works. We also offer our chats not only in English, but in Spanish. So if you are in an area of the country or if you are doing some, if you're targeting a Spanish-speaking demographic, we have 24/7 chat available in Spanish as well. So we got you covered there. And then the lead data that we capture from chats and that, we're also able to integrate that into the Google Analytics tracking that we're doing for you, or and so forth, so that we can actually track, the data on this so that we can go over it with you. Hey, here's where all of the different leads you're getting are coming from and things like that. So going back to the SMS texting option, because again, this is one of our newer features. And as you see here on the screen, on the left-hand side, we've sort of zeroed in on a little tab that's on the left-hand side of our website that says text us. On the bottom of the mobile site, there's an option where you can start a chat. And then on the left, there's the text. And really, we found that at least up until this point, it's still best to pair them both together and to give the consumer both options and let them choose what they're most comfortable with. So if they decide to click on text us, it opens up their native text messaging application on their phone, so on their iPhone or their Android. And really, most people are just so comfortable texting, as Ken mentioned, in a previous slide, sort of the comparison of texting to calling and so forth. I'll tell you that since we have come out with the texting option, we've seen mobile chat leads increase by over 30%, about 33, 34% increase since we've introduced the texting. So it's really a big deal. All of us know how much people text nowadays, and then the younger generations coming up and so forth. It's a preferred method of communication. So we can handle that for you as well. And also, if we do any Google AdWords campaigns or things of that nature for you, we can actually add a text us link right from that campaign. So it works out extremely well. And then touching on this exit pop-up feature that I brushed on earlier, this is a new feature that we've come out with. And we're really excited about this. So as we showed you that visual of the chat invitation earlier that sort of sits in the bottom right-hand corner, okay? This feature here that reduces website abandonment and converts more leads for you, and it's really sort of a last-ditch effort to convert someone that's on your website. This exit pop-up will only appear and only pop up if someone does not start a chat previously when being on your website. So that chat invitation that we showed you, if someone does not click start chat and they go to leave your website, so this is only on desktop now. So if they navigate their computer mouse to exit out of your site, before they exit, they're going to get this pop-up. And what this pop-up can say on it, we can have a few custom messages that come out of the gate to try to engage the person. For example, thanks for visiting our website. Were you able to find the information you were looking for? The next message may say, can I help? Are you aware that we offer a free initial consultation? Something like that. If you're running a special in any particular month, maybe you're having 15% off a particular service procedure or something like that during the month of July, we can advertise that here in this exit pop-up, again, to try to engage with them. So if they send a message back, then our live chat representative will jump in here and handle it like a normal chat and have that conversation with them. So again, since we have introduced this exit pop-up feature technology, we've seen a really nice significant increase in leads for our clients here as well. So we're really excited about that. Now kind of coming down to how we charge for the service and really what constitutes a lead. And I think this will be one of the most exciting things for you as well, is in terms of how we charge for it. So you may think, for example, that, hey, anytime someone starts a chat on my website, am I going to get charged for that? The answer is no. We charge only for qualified leads. And when we send you a lead email, there's a section on that lead email that says lead type. And next to lead type, it's going to say one of three things. It's either going to say sales, other, or service. And only sales leads, if you see a lead marked sales, will be a billable lead. So let's talk about what constitutes a sales lead then. There's 4 conditions that need to be met in order for a lead to be classified sales and billable to you. And those conditions are, we have to have obtained the person's name, their contact information. We're going to ask for their phone number and their email address. Most of the time we get both, but as long as we get at least one or the other. The person we're chatting with has to be interested in a service or procedure offered by your office. And they also have to fit within a predetermined geographical area for where you accept patients from. So you may say, well, we accept patients throughout the greater New York City area, for example, okay? And you may list off some counties or something. So they would have to be within that geographic area. We do have some clients sometimes that say, hey, as long as the patient is willing and able to get to our office, we'll see them. But at any rate, those are the 4 conditions that need to be met. So if those 4 conditions are met in the chat, and they obviously want to be contacted by your office or connected directly by phone, that is something we call a sales lead, and that's something that we would bill you for. If someone starts a chat and they're talking about a service or procedure that you do not offer, we don't get their contact information, they're trying to sell you something, maybe they're wondering if you're hiring, looking for a job, something like that. We still chat with them in a friendly manner. We still pass you the information along via email. However, next to lead type, it says other, and you're not billed for it. And the third lead classification type, which you see up here called a service lead, what we consider a service lead is if an existing patient of yours comes on and starts a chat, maybe they have an appointment scheduled and they want to reschedule the appointment. Maybe they've had some work done recently and they need to come back in for a follow-up visit, something along those lines. Then we chat with them. We'll let them know that we will forward their information to the office. Someone will get back to them as soon as possible. However, we do not bill you for those leads either. We call them a service lead and they're non-billable. So you can see here, based on our pricing structure and the fact that you're only paying for qualified leads, our clients that we work with who are using the chat think it's extremely fair and it works really well. And with that, we'll maybe open up to some questions here.
Perfect. Gentlemen, thank you very much. That, it's so interesting to me to see this growth, as we've watched it and as you two have studied it and seen this overall, it's amazing, but it just falls right in line with where we've seen things. When we think back to where things have really gone, right? The evolution of the iPhone came out 10 years ago. And when it came out, we weren't 100% positive we were going to see these huge changes. What were we going to use it for? Was it a glorified Palm Pilot, right? Replacing that, but now it's what we use. It's our livelihood. It's everything is there. It's in the palm of our hands, and we always have it. Even my own mom, now in her late 60s, is chatting with me on a regular basis. So it's not just the young audiences. The older ones have really embraced that quickness, that immediacy that happens. So it is great. I think one of the questions that came up is on the slide that talked about patients are more likely to return to a site with chat. Why is that 63% number? Why is it so high, and why are they likely to return?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the real factor is that the fact that the practice looks like they're more customer focused, and the fact that they went that extra mile to even think about having 24/7 coverage and having someone standing by at all times, ready to answer any questions and offer some engagement with the practice. And for that reason, when you think about it, someone visiting for the first time may not always be ready to take that next step, right? But then if they know in the back of their mind that, this doctor, this practice, has someone 24/7, they're more inclined when they are ready to take that next step in the buying process and engage or set up a consultation, to know that one website did have someone available at all times. And I know that that's the case.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. And what we look at it is that first impression. People just know that, hey, somebody's there. I can chat with them. It's on my timeline. And as I'm comfortable, I don't have to talk to somebody. I can just text them, chat with them, and get some of the questions I need to. But one of the other questions that came in is, how educated are these chat operators when it comes to medical terminology and each individual practice?
Yeah, sure. So it's a good question, and really the best way to answer it is, first of all, they are trained in terms of having, to know a lot of the medical verbiage and so forth that comes along in these chats. So there is some extensive training with that. The way that they know enough to chat on behalf of the particular practice is that, in addition to the training that they're provided here, we create a custom script for each one of our clients that they work off of when chatting on behalf of that client site. So for example, part of the process is, and we have some chat script templates that we've already come up with after doing a lot of testing and monitoring of chats and so forth, in terms of a lot of the common Q&A that come up in a chat. So we start off with that first, and then we go to the individual practice's website. So if it's a plastic surgeon or whatever the case may be, or dentist, and we're going to go to and we're going to look at the different services and procedures that are offered by that particular practice. We're going to get some of that information as well from you, the client. And we're going to incorporate those types of things into the script so that our agents are aware of the services and procedures that you offer, what you don't offer. We're going to add a little bit of information into the script about your unique practice as well, so we have a little bit of background that we can share if asked. We're going to, talk about, the geographic area and so forth that you service in primarily, and give us enough information to where we can have a successful chat for both the agent and the visitor. So although we are not, obviously, our chat agents certainly are not medical experts and doctors, what we are experts in is converting your website traffic into prospects for your business. So we're able to ask and answer a few simple questions with them to find out, for example, hi, thanks for contacting the name of your office. My name's Dave. May I have your name, please? We'll get their name and say, great, how can I assist you today? How can I help you? And they're going to say something, well, I'm interested in maybe this or that procedure. Okay, great. Before we continue, in case we get disconnected, to better assist you, whatnot, can I ask for your phone number and email address, please? And, get that information and say, and then we can ask some follow-up questions. Well, have you contacted us before? How soon are you perhaps looking to have this procedure done and so forth, things like that. Are you interested in setting up a free consultation? So we can have some of this basic chat. And then again, if somebody starts asking some more detailed questions that we don't have the answers to, we can offer to connect them directly by phone at that point. Would you like to speak to somebody right now in our office, a patient care coordinator who can answer your questions in more detail? Or, if we're not available to connect by phone right then and there, or if they're not available to talk right then and there, hey, I'd be happy to forward your information on to our office. Can I have someone get back to you who can answer your questions in more detail, or to set up that consultation? And so those are typical ways on how we handle the chat. It works out extremely well. It's a very good experience for the visitor on that end. And again, it starts that engagement process. It gets them comfortable. And like I say, we've seen a very high conversion rate in terms of website visitors into prospects. And one other thing I'll touch on, kind of going back to Ken's point earlier about why this works so well and why people come back to the site. I spoke to someone at a plastic surgeon's office who was talking to one of their patients, and they kind of gave the perspective. They said, hey, if you're a woman or a man or whatever, and maybe you're stuck at the DMV for a couple hours where you're sitting there waiting, and you say, hey, well, I got some time to kill, and maybe you've been thinking about having some sort of service or procedure done, and so you're sitting there on your iPhone or your Android phone, and you're doing a Google search, and you're going to these different websites. Well, you're not going to be very comfortable picking up the phone and talking in front of a lot of people at the DMV. You can't just fill out a form and get any sort of instant gratification there. But if you're on your mobile device in a public place and you have the ability to chat or text, I mean, they are much more likely to engage on your website. And those are, again, some examples of why it works so well.
Excellent. Yeah, and thank you. It's just important that everybody that's on here understand that we're not trying to answer medical questions. And that's one of the biggest questions we get all the time. But we are experts in conversion, of helping people connect with your office and make sure we get the information that's going to help that prospective patient feel comfortable and want to come to you. So that's you explained that extremely well. Another question that came in is talking about how we say this increases leads by 30 to 40%. Well, they're wondering, does that mean it decreases some of their other current leads, or is this truly in addition to?
Yeah, great question. And the answer to that is, this is a net increase that we see. So even if you may, it's possible certainly that you may see, a few less submission forms filled out, for example, on your contact form on your website, and things of that nature. However, what we're talking about is a net increase. So if someone said to me, hey, we're getting about 100 leads a month as a result of our website today, people doing a Google search, come to our site, filling out our form, or, calling us as a result of, having done that initial search on the internet and getting to the website, then I can confidently tell them, you should see about an additional 30 or 40 leads on top of that after you add the live chat. So instead of 100, you should be getting like 130, 140. So it is a net increase.
Thank you. And that's always a great distinction that I want all of our doctors to hear, is that this is a solid increase. And the fact that we're only charging for legitimate leads is really, really important. It's really a safety net there as well. The last question that came in was actually the first question. I've been holding off on it as it's come in a few times from a few other people, but what do we charge? And I'll go ahead and take this one as I run the sales side. So we charge a $550 setup fee. It's a one-time fee, and that fee gets everything set up for your chat: the design, the connect, the chat connect feature, as well as the abandonment. So all those pieces are set up; they're ready to go for you. The chat, the text version as well on the setup. And then we're offering right now a 15% discount on that setup fee, and that's good through July 15th. So we're excited to offer that to you. The other cost involved is there is a cost per lead, again, only for qualified leads, but it's $20 per lead. And so when you think about the cost to acquire a new patient, this is really quite low when you think about that and what the lifetime value of that patient is. On a plastic surgery side, the lifetime value of a cosmetic patient has been estimated between $90,000 to $120,000. So you think about it from that perspective, $20 is a very, very small cost to pay to acquire that lead. On the cosmetic or the dental side, it's about $30,000 is the lifetime value of a patient. Still extremely high when you think about that $20 acquisition fee. So really not much. It's really a drop in the bucket to make sure you're getting the right patients who are excited about you and the fact that they found you for that. So again, we appreciate everyone and their attendance today. Ken and Dave, thank you so much for all the wonderful information that you've shared with us. In closing, just a couple of quick little announcements. One is our next webinar is going to be held next month. It'll be on Wednesday, July 26th. Darren Siegel, who he's presented before, he's going to be giving our presentation next month on how to stop being mediocre with your marketing and practice. And he's also going to do a free website evaluation. We're actually going to have one of you live actually volunteer your website, and Darren will be doing that evaluation live next month. So that'll be very, very interesting. You will want to make that for sure on July 26th. Lastly, I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July. Enjoy your weekend with friends and family. And again, wishing everyone the best. This has been recorded and it will be published and on our YouTube page as well as available on our website by Friday, midday, at the very, very latest, probably by tomorrow, end of the day. So in case there's anything you missed or wanted to watch again or hear again, it will be available for you. Again, wishing everyone a wonderful week and great end of the month. And again, Ken and David, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.